Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's Chris, or Meat Wagon, as you guys know me here on my channel. I'm pretty sure that I'll probably get some other viewers that don't know me as Meat Wagon, the guy who plays video games and records it and puts it on YouTube. But today we're going to go over a PC build, a gaming PC build. All right, and we had talked about this in some previous episodes. I've been getting a lot of feedback from you guys as far as questions and concerns and just wondering and needing more information and knowledge on PCs. Now let me preface this up front by saying that I am by no means a computer expert. I'm a gamer and I'm a tinkerer. I like building things and messing with things. So I started building my own PCs for a couple of reasons. One, because again, I like building things, and two, I wanted to be able to be more specific in each component that I was getting. I didn't really see too many places that I could, specialize the PC, save some money here, get something better there, and have the right combination of parts. But there are a few websites out there that you can do that now, and they're pretty good. CyberPower PC is one of them. I've had some friends buy from there. You can choose some of their pre-built gaming PCs, or you can take one and customize it. Just maybe change the graphics card or change the processor or something like that. So if you guys are interested in getting a gaming PC and maybe not necessarily building it, like physically building it yourself, maybe you want to build it online and have somebody assemble it for you, that's a good website to go to. They do good work over there. I've heard from my friends that they're very happy with the PCs they got from them. So that's CyberPower PC, and I believe they're in California. So anyway, let's start off by saying that this is a sponsored build. It's sponsored by our sponsors, which is Asus Computer Company, Asus North America. If you guys watch SurvivorCraft, you know that they are our proud sponsor of that show. They have worked with us extremely well. We are very happy to be associated with a company like Asus. Also, Thermaltake has come on board. Thermaltake has provided us with the case. They've provided a power supply, one of their new gaming keyboards and mouse, and they've also provided the CPU cooler here, which is the Frio Advanced. And we'll go over all this stuff. And our third sponsor is Patriot Memory. Patriot has provided us with some pretty crazy stuff here in an SSD card, solid state drive, and with our memory for the PC. So I just want to start off by saying the last PC that I built is right here, okay? I built two gaming PCs. This is my second, I say my secondary PC. It's what I actually run our Minecraft server on when we're just doing two-player Dumb and Dumber stuff. We have a Minecraft server for the game shows, SurvivorCraft and Gladiator, on Aim to Game. And you guys have seen those links. Aim to Game is a very, very good server provider. They've got great prices, and I think you can actually get discounts or something if you use our link. So I'll include that in the description. And in the description, you'll see Asus and Thermaltake and Patriot, all the people that helped us with this build. So what they did was they provided us with parts and pieces to assemble a gaming PC. So what we have here is what was provided. It wasn't necessarily spec'd out, but I tell you, we got some pretty crazy stuff here. The reason why I have this one out here is for a couple of reasons. This is not a budget build by any means. This PC build that we're going to do here is not a budget build. I would say roughly, if I had to add up all of this stuff, roughly retail price would be about $3,500 for this particular PC that we're going to build for guns. It's for guns for hire, so he can record, he can render, he can do all that stuff faster and be a lot more efficient and actually enjoy PC gaming that much more. This is not just going to be about gaming. This is about rendering and doing, Photoshop and Sony Vegas and all the other stuff that goes with being a YouTube director and someone like Guns who does this for a living. He is a full-time YouTube director, vlogger, interactive idiot traveling around the world for you guys. He does all that stuff, and he really, really needs a good PC like this. So this build is not only for you guys, but it's especially for him. And again, for me to be able to do this for him or along, with him, it's a pretty good feeling because I get to build it. But I also know that in the end, he's going to have this PC that is going to help him just 100% better making videos and doing stuff for you and taking his game even to the next level. It's at a pretty high level, but this is going to help out a lot. So let's look at this PC here as far as pricing ranges go, because I know that's very, very important to people. This PC here, I would say I have about 1,700 in this. So about 3,500 retail, about say 1,800 retail, not retail. Retail, this would be over 2,000, but because I built it myself, I was able to save money. And I'll show you some of the little ways that you can save money. But in here, I want to preface that because this is a sponsored build, it's funny because before I knew any of these people, you can see I use Thermaltake's Frio CPU cooler. One, because I think it looks awesome. It's huge. It looks like a big old beast in there. It's a pretty cool looking component, but it works really, really well. They're actually rated for overclocking. I mean, if you look at this, you can see there's radiators and fans on both sides. This is where it attaches to the CPU. You can see I still have the seal on there because you don't want to get any grime or finger grease or anything on there before you apply the thermal compound paste and put it on the board. So I used Thermaltake's Frio cooler before. You see, I don't know if you can see the power supply here with the red line on it. Can you see this? That is a Thermaltake power supply. Okay? That is an Asus motherboard. Intel processor. I use the same components of this sponsored build. So there's not going to be any fanboyism. I know a lot of you guys out there are probably a lot smarter than I am about PCs and components and overclocking and doing all this stuff and saying that, well, you like this brand better than this and this brand's better than that. I'm just going to tell you that the two PCs that I built use these same brands. I've had good success with this one and my very first one. They're good components. They work really well. So I have no qualms in saying that the Asus and the Thermaltake and the Patriot, this is good quality equipment. Top of the line equipment, okay? So let's move on. So in this one I've actually got NVIDIA GTX 560 Ti. Now that was the big difference in this machine than my first machine. The first machine I used NVIDIA's GTX 580, okay? So that right there was a couple $400 difference than this card here. That was the big savings. But I'm using the Asus. I believe this one is a P. My first one was the P68, and this is the Z60 P67 Z68. Now, that's pretty much it for that. When we assemble this, this is what it's going to look like. It's in a little bit smaller case than this one. This is a full tower. This is a mid tower here. But what I've done is I've bought some extra fans for extra case cooling in case we have a problem or issues with heating. But this is going to be a tight build. You can see all this extra room I have in here. This one is going to be a tight build. Okay? So let's go over some of the components here. First things first, the motherboard. This is the Asus, I gotta look over here, the Rampage 4. And the reason why I have to look is because this is a much higher level board than I've ever used myself. This is what they call an enthusiast level board. There's a lot of things on here to help you with tweaking, overclocking, doing all kinds of stuff as an enthusiast. This is the kind of board that you want, okay? And just, I mean, look at this thing. It is ridiculous. It's heavy. Look at all the piping on there. I mean, this is just, it's ridiculous. And that's how this build is going to go. It's not going to get real specific on tech specs here. You can look up the Rampage 4 right here from Asus, all right? the CPU that we have on here, this is Intel's, like, I'm going to say it's like their mothership. This CPU is the old number for it was the 990X. I believe the new number for it is the 3960X or 3690. It's don't quote me on that. 990X or 3960X. This is a $1,000 processor. The processor I have in here is the i7 2600K unlocked processor. Incredible, incredible processor. About $230. And it's a beast. What is this thing going to do? This thing is crazy. It's going to be crazy. We're definitely going to need the Thermaltake cooler on this thing because I imagine that thing runs pretty hot. So you're definitely going to want to go with a very, very good CPU cooler. We've got Thermaltake power supply here, 1,000 watt. Okay, we're oversizing the power supply just in anticipation if we need anything. But I wanted a really stable power supply. So Thermaltake's 1,000 watt power supply, and then look at this bad boy. This is Asus's HD7970 graphics card. It's an AMD graphics card, but this is like their new flagship graphics card. And this thing, look at this thing. Look at those fans and radiators on there. What they do is companies like Nvidia and AMD, they make the card, and then companies like Asus will apply cooling and shrouds and tweaking to the GPUs on there to try and get more performance out of it, to make it better cooling, and all those companies do stuff like that. So this is Asus's version of the HD7970 from AMD, and that's what we're going to be using in this build. All right. What else? We did the Frio advanced cooler. We did the Rampage motherboard. We did the Intel chip, the power supply. Here's the GPU. Let's move on to the memory. This is the Pyro from Patriot. It's a Pyro. It's a 120 gigabyte SSD. It's a solid state drive. Okay. What we're going to do with the solid state drive is, actually, you know what? I'm going to cover the components and then we'll go over exactly how we're going to lay this out. But with an SSD drive going into a regular computer, a desktop, you need to have a bracket to where it makes it full size. This is 2.5 inch. This is 3.5 inch for a regular hard drive bay. So you use an adapter bracket so it slides in the same bays as your regular hard drives. We are using 120 gigabyte Patriot Pyro SSD drive. We are using a pair of Western Digital Black Caviar hard drives. These are high performance hard drives. We have a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte. And again, I will go over why we're laying things out like this. So Western Digital Caviar Black, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. All right, that's what we're going to be using for our normal hard drives, along with our 120 gigabyte SSD drive. And for our memory, oh man, look at the size of this memory. Look at the cooling fins on this stuff. All right, is that unbelievable? That's about, it's over 2 inches tall. It's over 2 inches tall. Now this is Patriot's Division 4 DDR3, 16 gigabytes of RAM we're putting in here, and it's called Viper Extreme. Viper Extreme. So this is Patriot's high-end RAM as well. Now the reason why all of this, because of this motherboard and this CPU, you need this kind of RAM. You need, all this stuff has to tie together. When you're doing a build, whether it's like this or like this, you've got to lay it out on paper. You've got to understand what you're going for, and then as you start to build components, they have to work together, okay? You, like I said, this here is not a budget build by any means. Budget build would be like under $800, I would think. This is twice that. This is a high performance PC in itself. i7, Asus motherboard. This thing is awesome. Okay, but you can see I went from I can either use a GTX 560 Ti, which runs all the games I need to, or you can step it up higher if you're willing to shell out some more coin. Now, the new GPUs actually, the higher end ones are coming down. They're actually getting better in pricing for getting a better GPU. But you have to understand that when I say better, I mean the difference between $600 and $500. They are still very, very expensive. Okay, and to round it off, we've got I got Guns this is one of those SD memory card, multi-memory type card readers, because he uses a lot of different things like from his cameras and different things like that. So this is a card reader for him, and then he also has a Blu-ray drive here. His multimedia bay is a Blu-ray reader and burner, so that way he can watch his Blu-ray movies if he'd like to. So that is our basic setup here of what we're going to be doing, okay? Power supply, motherboard, CPU, GPU, hard drives, memory, you got your cooling, you got your components, your extras in your multi-bay card readers and Blu-ray. We've got the case here from Thermaltake that we're going to be putting it all in. So that right there, in a nutshell, is the components we're going to be using. Okay? So in the next video, what I'm going to talk about is why and why I chose the hard drive stuff. Is I chose that based off of something that I do, and I'll explain that. And we're going to start assembling this thing and start putting it together, and it should be good. So I hope that this is, so it's going to be a couple of parts. I hope this has been informative. I hope it's been a little bit entertaining. Again, this is the noob version of building. I'm not the expert, but I really enjoy doing this stuff, and I've been blessed enough to have some companies like Asus, Thermaltake, and Patriot sponsor us a build, so I can do this for you and for Guns for Hire, so you can have a better PC, an awesome PC, a PC better than mine, because this thing right here, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's a beast. All right, guys? Anyway, look for part 2. We're going to move on, and we're going to do some more in-depth description of what we're going to be doing, why we're using the hard drives like we are, and some other things. So look forward to part 2 of the Power PC gaming thing going on. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.